I'll handle the divorce while you're gone. The apartment's already sold.
My wife's voice dripped with satisfaction through the phone, like she'd just won the lottery. The conference room walls seemed to close in. My chest tightened, a familiar sensation I'd been ignoring for months. "Did you just say you sold our apartment?" I kept my voice steady, though my pulse hammered in my ears.
Yes, I did,
she said with a laugh that cut like glass.
Derek and I need a fresh start. You understand, right? You were always so accommodating.
Derek. So she finally said his name out loud. 6 months of late meetings and girls' weekends suddenly crystallized into a face, her personal trainer, who'd been coming to our building's gym. My hands went cold against the phone. I ended the call without another word, because she'd made one fatal mistake in her perfectly orchestrated betrayal. Thank you for listening. If this story resonated with you, leave a comment below and subscribe to this channel for more infidelity stories and cheating wife stories on YouTube. My name is Michael Robinson, and until that moment, I'd been the reliable husband. The one who worked 70-hour weeks while Rachel pursued her wellness coaching career from our Denver loft. The one who supported her dreams, paid the bills, kept everything running smoothly. The accommodating one. Standing in my office, something inside me shifted. Not rage, but clarity. Cold, precise clarity. The ringing in my ears faded. My breathing steadied. For months, I'd felt her drifting away like a tide pulling back from shore. Now I understood why. The apartment deed had been transferred solely to my name 2 years ago during our refinancing. It had made financial sense at the time. Better interest rate, simplified paperwork, and Rachel had been happy to let me handle it.
Just take care of it, babe,
she'd said, barely looking up from her phone.
You know I hate all that financial stuff.
She'd signed without reading, without asking questions, without realizing what she was giving up. Had I made it too easy for her to take me for granted? The thought flickered briefly before I pushed it aside. This wasn't about what I'd done wrong. This was about what she'd chosen to do. The rest of the conference blurred past. While my colleagues discussed quarterly projections, my mind shifted from stunned to deliberate. The deed. The lawyer. The next steps. By the time the meeting ended, I knew exactly what I needed to do. First call, Sarah Morrison, my attorney and longtime friend.
Mike, what's going on?
I need your help. Rachel's trying to sell our apartment.
Okay, and?
She doesn't know the deed's in my name alone. She already took money from a buyer. Silence, then.
Oh no, Mike, that's...
Fraud. I know. Can you help?
I'll draft a cease and desist for the buyer immediately. They need to know the sale isn't valid. And Mike, document everything. Every text, every voicemail.
When I arrived home that evening, Sarah had already contacted the buyer's agent. My phone lit up with Rachel's calls. 23 and 40 minutes. I let them all go to voicemail, each vibration like an echo of her panic. The apartment was exactly as I'd left it that morning, except for boxes stacked in the corner. I opened one. My grandfather's watch, family photos, books from my father. Things that mattered to me, already packed away like I was being erased from my own life. A weight settled in my chest. Not anger, but something heavier. The realization that I'd already been replaced in her mind. I poured myself a drink and sat in my favorite chair, the one Rachel always said was too old, and finally listened to her messages. They progressed from angry to panicked to desperate.
Michael, there's been a misunderstanding. The buyer's lawyer called. What's going on? This isn't funny. Call me back. Please, we need to talk. I'm coming home. We'll figure this out.
Her voice shifted from arrogance to panic with each message. I took a slow breath, feeling something settle inside me. No yelling would come from me. No dramatic confrontation. Just facts, documents, and consequences delivered with the same precision I used in boardrooms. The front door burst open 2 hours later. Rachel stood there in her designer athleisure, face flushed, Derek hovering uncertainly behind her.
What did you do?
She demanded. I took a sip of my drink. I protected my property. You tried to sell something that isn't yours.
It's our apartment. We bought it together.
No, Rachel. We did buy it together. But when we refinanced 2 years ago, you signed it over to me. Remember, you didn't want to deal with the paperwork. Her face went white.
That's not... You tricked me.
I didn't trick anyone. I suggested it would simplify the refinancing. You agreed. You signed. I pulled out the folder I'd retrieved from our filing cabinet, my hand steady despite the storm inside. Here's your signature on the deed transfer. She stared at the document, then at Derek, then back at me.
This isn't happening.
It is. And there's more. You took money from that buyer for a fraudulent sale. That's a crime, Rachel. Derek finally spoke up.
Hey, this is between you two.
Actually, Derek, if you've received any of that money, you're involved too. I kept my voice calm, factual, the same tone I used for quarterly reports. My lawyer says the buyer wants their deposit back immediately. All of it. Rachel sank onto the couch, the fight draining out of her.
We already used some of it for the new place.
Then you'll need to return it. Today. Or this becomes a criminal matter.
You wouldn't.
I'm not the one who committed fraud, Rachel. I'm just protecting what's mine. The words came out clean, measured. No satisfaction in them, just necessity. Inside, something twisted. Seeing her this way, reduced to consequences she never imagined. But I held steady. The next hour was painful, but necessary. Rachel made calls, transferred money, unwound her grand plan piece by piece. Derek stood by the window, increasingly uncomfortable as the reality set in. I watched them scramble, feeling strangely detached, like watching a movie of someone else's life. When the buyer's deposit was returned, I handed Rachel an envelope. Divorce papers. Uncontested. You get what you brought to the marriage. I keep the apartment.
This is cruel.
She whispered. No. Cruel was calling me to announce you'd sold my home. Cruel was your lies about where you were, who you were with. I glanced at Derek. This is just consequences. She signed. What choice did she have?
I need time to find a place,
She said quietly. You have 2 weeks. That's more courtesy than you gave me. Derek helped her pack some essentials. As they left, Rachel turned back.
I know you hate me right now.
I don't hate you, I said, and meant it. The truth was simpler and sadder than hate. I'm disappointed. I'm hurt. But mostly, I'm done. Done being the accommodating one. Done pretending this was a partnership when it was really just you making decisions and me going along. She had no response to that. That night, I lay in our bed, my bed, staring at the ceiling. The apartment felt different, hollow but also lighter. The ghost of our marriage still lingered in the corners, but it was fading already. The next morning, Sarah called. It's handled, I said. She signed the divorce papers. Returned the money.
Good. Mike, I'm sorry this happened, but you handled it well. No threats, no games, just facts and consequences.
Quiet authority, I murmured, remembering my father's advice. Sometimes, that's all you need. That evening, my friend Tom came by with pizza and beer. We sat on my balcony, looking out at the Denver skyline.
You okay?
He asked. Yeah. It's strange. I thought I'd be angrier. But mostly I just feel relieved. The word surprised me as I said it, but it was true.
She really thought she could sell your place?
She never paid attention to our finances. Always said it was my thing. I guess she figured ownership was just a detail.
Expensive assumption.
Over the next 2 weeks, Rachel moved out in stages. We barely spoke. Derek did most of the heavy lifting while she supervised. I stayed out of their way, working late or meeting friends. But sometimes I'd come home to find another corner emptied, another piece of our life together boxed up and gone. Each time, a small sting, then recalibration. The day she returned her key, she lingered at the door.
I'm sorry,
She said.
I handled everything wrong.
Yes, you did.
The thing with Derek, it just happened.
Things don't just happen, Rachel. You made choices. 1,000 small choices that led here. She nodded, tears in her eyes.
I know you won't believe this, but I did love you.
Maybe. But not enough to respect me. Not enough to be honest. She left then, and I felt the last thread between us snap cleanly. I stood in the doorway for a moment, key in hand, feeling the weight of it. Then I went inside and changed the locks. The divorce finalized 2 months later. Quick, clean, uncontested. Word got around. Denver's social circles aren't that big. Some people thought I'd been too harsh. Others said I'd handled it with more grace than they would have. I didn't care about the opinions. I cared about rebuilding. I redecorated the apartment, making it truly mine for the first time. Bought the art I liked, the furniture that suited me. Set up a home office where Rachel's meditation room had been. Small changes that added up to a new life. Each new piece was a choice, my choice, and slowly the space transformed from a monument to what was lost into a foundation for what could be. A year after that phone call, I ran into them at a farmer's market. Rachel was examining tomatoes, Derek carrying their bags. She saw me and froze. The old me would have turned away, but I felt steady now, grounded in a way I hadn't been in years. Rachel, Derek.
Hi, Michael.
She looked nervous.
How are you?
Good. Really good, actually. And I was. The initial pain had faded, replaced by something better. Self-respect. The knowledge that when pushed, I hadn't crumbled or lashed out. I'd simply stood my ground.
I heard you're doing well.
She said.
Tom mentioned you got promoted.
Yeah. More responsibility, but I enjoy it. An awkward pause. Derek shifted the bags, clearly wanting to leave.
Rachel, my parents are coming soon.
He said. She nodded.
Take care, Michael.
You too. I watched them walk away, Rachel saying something sharp to Derek about the weight of the bags. Some dynamics never change. But I had changed. The accommodating man who'd answered that phone call 6 months ago wouldn't recognize the one standing here now. That night, I cooked dinner in my kitchen, in my apartment, living my life. The city lights twinkled through the windows, full of possibility. Rachel had been wrong about one thing. I hadn't been accommodating because I was weak. I'd been accommodating because I'd loved her, trusted her, believed in us. It wasn't a flaw. It was love expressed the only way I knew how. When that trust was broken, I'd found I could choose differently. Choose myself. The apartment was quiet, peaceful. No more lies, no more pretending everything was fine when it wasn't. Sometimes I still felt the echo of what we'd built together, but it no longer pulled me backward. I raised my glass to the view, to new beginnings, to the man I'd discovered I could be when being accommodating was no longer enough, to boundaries set with quiet authority, to the surprising relief of being alone, but not lonely. For the first time in years, I was exactly where I belonged. Thank you for listening. Like the video and subscribe for more infidelity stories, cheating wife stories, and inspirational stories about finding the strength to start over.